How long did you do in the Marines?
4 years.
4 years. So when you get out, how old are you?
21, 22.
21, 22, and then you join the NYPD.
Yeah, joined the NYPD. Went through the academy. Went to what was called NSU 9, Neighborhood Stabilization Unit 9, and what that was, I'm thinking, based on my experience there, they would send you to 4 different precincts. I think some were A houses, which means really busy, and then slower houses. So, NYPD gave me a badge and a gun and told me to go lock up criminals. I'm like, this is freaking beautiful, right? But what I didn't know is, even though I grew up in the Bronx, when you're wearing that blue uniform, the Bronx is a different place. You can, when you're a civilian, you kind of meld in, and but now you're wearing a uniform, and you don't know anything more than anybody else. First coming out of the academy, a fight breaks out, a car accident, family dispute, you respond, and people are looking at you like, what do you do? And I'm like, shit, I don't know. I'm just 22 years old. I don't know. You've been having this problem for 45 years. You want me to figure it out in 5 minutes? So I wanted to get the bad guys. So they put us in what was, the NSU people put us in this thing called BAND, Bronx Anti-Narcotics Division. Sounds impressive. Really all it was let's flood the streets with a bunch of rookies that straight out of the academy, and the theory was the drug dealers would run away. BS. The drug dealers ain't running away. They just hide a little bit. But growing up in the Bronx, growing up where I grew up, bouncing around and seeing different parts of the Bronx. Primarily, I grew up on Arthur Avenue, but really bounced around a lot. I call Arthur Avenue our home base. Every time we would try to venture out, something wouldn't work, we'd go back to Grandma's on Arthur Avenue. We lived there or anything. So I'm seeing these hand-to-hand drug deals. I'm seeing guys with knives doing robberies. Everybody thinks a robbery is like, give me your money. No. Guy walks up to you, yo, Holmes, puts a knife to you, yo, Holmes, and goes. So I see this. So I'm locking people up left and right. And I got this sergeant who, unbeknownst to me, he's one of the guys taking the test. That's his deal. And he's looking to be lieutenant, commissioner, whatever the heck he wants to be. So he comes into me and he's telling me, Delia, you're gonna get yourself hurt. You're gonna get yourself jammed up, and thereby you're gonna get me jammed up. Slow down on the arrests. What are you talking about? I'm making felony collars here. What are you freaking talking about, Sarge? So, and plus, I'm a former Marine. You got to understand something. Like I was hurt in Beirut. I was wounded in Beirut. I was a Marine's Marine. I wasn't gonna play this nonsense, right? So I'm making collars left and right. So long story short, one day the sergeant pulls me in a room and he says to me, Delia, how is it that you see all these arrests, all these felony arrests, and not any other rookies see them? How is that possible? I said, you should be asking them that question. I don't know how they're not seeing it either, to be quite honest with you, because it's nuts. Well, anyway, he says, I'm going to get even with you. I said, well, what's that mean? He goes, you're going to see. So when you get to ask what precinct you want to go to. I wanted to go in the worst way to the 4-4 or the 4-6. Busy houses. I figured I'd learn the job. He sends me to the 5-0. Oh my gosh, it's death warrant. 5-0's in Riverdale. It's a very nice place. You have nothing going on there. That's where cops go, in my personal opinion, at that time, to die. Right? So, I knew guys, they were going out on patrol at that time. They were not even wearing bulletproof vests. They're not doing this. If you made an arrest and you're down Central booking, people would laugh at you like, oh my gosh, 5-0, you made an arrest. What was... So, I'm there, I'm dying. I'm like, this sucks. But there was crimes there, you never know what you're going to come across when you're a cop. So, I get a call, and you got to go with your gun instinct. I was working with a guy at this time. He wasn't really he wanted to be in the 5-0. He's that type of guy. We get a call, child difficulty breathing. I am very much, kids are my thing, right? So I tell him, Jeff, let's get there. We're going. He's like, slow down, slow down. I'm not slowing down. Slow down. We're arguing the whole time. Slow down. Let EMS take care of it. I said, Jeff, I got a feeling. I get there. There's a woman sitting on the steps, and she's crying. And she's bent over crying. Oh, my baby, my baby. So I'm like thinking, you fool, like, why ain't you with your baby? So I go running past her. I'm like, what's wrong? Oh my God, he hurt her. So I go running upstairs. Father shot the kid in the head. Kid's laying on across the desk with half a fucking brain blown out. I'm like, oh my God, where's the dad? So I pull out my gun. I come running down. She says to me, you just missed him when you pulled up. So I look at my partner. I'm like, I'm going to kill you. Like, I wanted to get here. Well, now I'm telling this woman, she shot. She shot. That's why she was holding on. So you never know what you're going to run into. You know, so anyway, I get from there, and I can't take it no more, right? And I'm like, I got to get out of here. I switched partners, a really good partner, guy by the name of Mike Green, amazing guy. But I can't take it no more, and I don't know what I'm going to do. And the captain, this guy, Captain Scanlon, and a sergeant, they said to me, hey, you'd be better off in Bronx Task Force. I go to Bronx Task Force. I'm like, this is worse. Because they're telling me, Bronx Task Force, you're going to do things for the command, you know, the borough. So I'm thinking, oh, we're going to, be doing riots. We're going to be doing this. So I'm in Bronx Task Force.
Yep.
And one story that sticks out there is I'm on a midnight and it's the winter and there's nobody on the street. I don't know what that is. I see this guy walking towards me and my partner, and I'm like, yo, look at this here. Look at this guy. He kind of wants to approach us, but doesn't want to approach us. And he's got his hand in here. So I'm like, I'm going to cap this friggin' dude. So when you're on patrol, what you do is you never close your windows because you want to hear what's going on outside. So I don't care how cold it is or how hot it is, you keep those windows down just a little bit. So this guy's coming near me, so I start to step out of the car. I'm like, yo, my friend, don't come any closer. So he's like, I was hoping you could help me. I'm like, help you what? What's the problem? He's like, I got into an argument with my father-in-law and he shot me. I says, he shot you? He goes, yeah. I says, where'd he shoot you? He takes his hand out, half his freaking hand hanging out. I'm like, oh my God. But anyway, we rush him to the hospital. We find out that we find out that he smacked his wife. The father-in-law got mad and shot him. But I have to tell you one real quick story going back to the 5-0 that people don't realize. We get a call one time of a guy having a heart attack. We get there, this guy's sweating. He's not going to make it. No ambulance is available because they used to have to fill up with all these junkies and everything else. So me and my partner decide to transport. You're not supposed to try to transport, but this guy ain't going to make it if we don't. We pick him up. Wife's crying, kids crying. Oh. We're going down the stairs. This guy's sweating. He's having a heart attack. We all fall down the stairs. This guy rolls down. The family's watching us. Just, oh my gosh, So we get it. My partner's in the back seat trying to do CPR. You can't do CPR on something soft, but he's doing his best. I hear the guy die. I hear him go. I knew he's gone. Get him to the hospital. Next day, sergeant calls us come into the precinct. So I'm like, oh, we're in trouble. This woman came in. This is the 5-0. They don't play this kind of nonsense that you're going to say, killed my husband, right? The woman made us a cake with a card saying, I never seen two cops try so hard to save my husband. It just touches you, Sometimes you get that. So anyway, back to the task force. I'm there 3 months. I'm like, I can't do this because I made the fatal mistake unbeknownst to me. So cops in busy houses, sometimes they don't get to eat. So I'm listening, I forget what precinct we were in, 4, 6, wherever the heck we were. And I'm listening to this one sector trying to take a meal. And they're like, no, I got a priority. I got shots fired. I got this. This is nuts. So I pick up the radio. I'm like, task force, whatever. Yeah, task force. I'm like, let that sector go to meal. I'll cover his thing. Guy comes over to thank you. My partner turns around and goes, you're a dead man here. I'm like, what's that mean? He goes, you don't do that. We don't pick up the radio. We don't do that. we got to be ready in case there's a riot. We got to be ready for this. We got to be ready for that. Once you pick up the radio, they're going to know you're in the sector. They're going to start in the precinct. They're going to start giving you a job. We don't do that. I don't know who's right. I don't know who's wrong. I know me. Cop's hungry. Cop needs some help. I'm going to back him up. I'm going to answer the radio. Well, a friend of mine by the name of Mike Jermaine, he had put in for narcotics, and he's like, Chris, you should put in for narcotics. Mike later on, he was an undercover. Mike was Chris Holben's partner. Chris Holben and Eddie and Michael Busick were both killed on the same day. Mike was on patrol. Chris and Eddie, Chris Holben and Mike were doing a undercover buy, and Mike gets Chris Holben gets killed. But anyway, that's down the road. Mike says, put in for narcotics. I put in for narcotics. Guy calls me in for an interview, asks me what nationality I am. Before I could respond, he says, you know what? Don't matter. I can't figure it out. They're not going to figure it out. So I passed for light-skinned black. I passed for Egyptian. I passed for Hispanic. I passed for Italian. I passed for anything. I always used to tell people my scam was, listen, just got kicked out of the Marine Corps. Freaking dirtbags threw me out. I can't make a living. My mother's white. My father's whatever gang I was trying to get into. And I like to joke around. I like to have fun. My family to this day, they call me like a street comedian, So I would go out there and I would just make friends with these people. I was making more and more buys, doing more and more things. They send you there for 90 days. They up me for another 90 days. And, there was this thing where the undercover would make the buy and the backup guys, the investigators, they'd make the arrests. And so the investigators started to like me because they would come up to me and they would say, Chris, I want to get on, meaning I want to make an arrest. And, the undercovers, rightfully so, a lot of them would say, listen, I'm only going to make so many buys in a day because every one of them you're risking your life. And, but I didn't care because I thought I was invincible. I didn't think anybody could kill me. I've been in through the Marine Corps. I've been in a machine gun bunker that was blown up. I survived growing up. I've survived the abusive father. I've survived the abusive guy. Nobody's going to kill me. It's just not going to happen. So I would say, oh, no problem. I'll go out. I'll make a buy for you. Or if somebody didn't want to do the buy, they would, say, oh, go to Delia. Delia will do the buy. It doesn't matter where it is, who it is, doesn't matter. So I got a reputation. Next thing I know, I got an invitation to join Narcotics Major Case Squad. We started doing some serious cases. I worked on one of the biggest cases in New York City. And a lot of people say that because it's true for all of us, right? People don't realize, the city of New York doesn't realize the debt of gratitude they owe these guys. We talk about my friend Louis Baldessari. He worked a big case. I know a lot of other guys who worked big cases. So I worked this case called Big Shot. We took down a lot of mafia guys. I started off buying small amounts of drugs off of some Hispanic gangs, worked my way up to 116th Street and First Avenue, did a lot of stuff there. Things were going great. I didn't know where it was going to take me, but I was on top of the world. My wife used to laugh. My neighbors thought I was some sort of criminal. Nobody knew what I did. They're like, one day this guy's driving a taxi cab for work. One day he's driving a Corvette convertible. One day he's doing this. I'd make my wife, not supposed to do it, but I used to tell her, I'll drive you to and from work. I throw in the back of the cab, yellow cab, all sorts of stuff going on. I let her out one day. The guy jumps in. I'm like, no, I'm closing. Guy's like, F you, mother, you're going to take me. I'm like, no, seriously, you got to get out of the cab. Get out of the cab. I'm not going to get out of the cab. So he gets out of the cab and he kicks the cab and he puts a dent in the door. I'm like, oh, really? Okay, get out. Boom, now you're under arrest. Oh, no, I can't be under arrest. Oh, too late for that, you little bitch. Lock him up, you're done.